This video is brought to you by Island Marine Rentals. Paddleboard with kids. Tips and hints. Water sports are a great way to have fun with your kids and encourage them into doing an outdoor activity. In fact, one of the most popular water sport activities for families is paddleboarding. If you enjoy paddleboarding yourself, then it might be a nice idea to introduce your child to it as well. This family-friendly sport could easily serve as your fun and exciting family bonding activity, and we're sure your kids will love it as well. It's understandable that some parents may have some safety concerns, but don't worry, because there are ways to provide a great kids paddleboarding experience without risking your child's safety. Keeping kids safe while paddleboarding. First, you have to determine whether you will paddleboard with kids or whether you will provide a separate children's paddleboard for your kid. Knowing which activity you will do is essential to making sure that your child is safe. Below are some tips and hints to keep your kids safe in both scenarios. Safely sharing your paddleboard with kids. 1. Review your proper paddling technique. To give your child a great paddleboard experience, make sure that you at least understand the basics of paddleboarding. Since you will be the one in charge of supervising your child and ensuring their safety, it is important that you are a competent paddleboarder yourself to balance and assist your kid when out in open waters. 2. Choose a board with the right size and weight. Different types of paddleboards can support different weight limitations. It is important that you take into account your weight as well as your child's when choosing a paddleboard. If your combined weight is too light, it will be harder to turn and steer the paddleboard. If you are too heavy, then the board can turn upside down. Apart from the weight, also choose the proper size for your supboard, making sure that both of you will fit. 3. Avoid places with strong waves and currents. When you paddleboard with kids, it is ideal to choose a place with calmer waters and avoid places with strong waves or currents. As such, it is best to opt for smaller and more protected bodies of water like lakes and bays instead of seas. This will make it easier to rescue your child should something happen. 4. Make sure your child can swim and always wears a personal flotation device and sup-board leash when dealing with bodies of water. Emergencies can always happen. As such, one of the most basic safety tips when paddleboarding with kids is to, first and foremost, teach your child how to swim. Then, make sure that they wear a personal flotation device and sup-board leash. These two tips can greatly help in preventing emergencies from turning into tragedies. Keeping kids safe on their own children's paddleboard. If you plan on letting your child paddleboard on their own kid's supboard, tips 2, 3, and 4 above are still applicable. Choose the right kid's paddleboard for them. Find a place with calm and protected waters, and make sure to teach them to swim and wear the proper safety equipment. Apart from those 3, here are other tips to keep your child safe as they paddleboard on their own. 1. Make sure there is adult supervision. Just because your child is paddleboarding on their own kid's paddleboard does not mean that you shouldn't be watching them. In fact, adult supervision is even more necessary in this case because you will not be the one to control the kid's paddleboard. Teach your kids the proper paddling and balancing techniques to keep them safe and ensure they fully enjoy the experience. Make sure that your child is properly educated with the safety guidelines and what to do when things go wrong. 2. Keep your child hydrated and protected from the sun. Staying exposed to the sun for too long, especially on hot sunny days, can be dangerous for your child. It could easily lead to dehydration and sunburn or even skin cancer. Because of this, don't forget to bring drinks and food and to ask your child to take breaks and stay hydrated while on the water. You should use some sun protection including sunblock, hats, and long-sleeved clothing. What are you waiting for? It's time to take your child out on a fun paddleboarding experience. If you don't have a children's paddleboard for your kid, Island Marine Rentals offers some of the most affordable kids' supboards that you could rent. We offer the best boat rental service in Madeira Beach, Florida, too. Call us today at 727-595-0000.